you have food that's wasted because the farmer's like, oh, well, I harvested this, but like this banana has too many spots on it, or like there's a little bite taken out of this one squash. So they just toss that. I mean, I'm guilty of this too. Like maybe I don't make it through all my whole, like this whole bag of greens that I get. And so you throw some of that away. And then like if you put food on your plate, you don't eat all of that food, you know? And it's just like a mess. There's so many ways that we can waste food in our system. So no wonder America is wasting like 40% of our food. Like stop the food that's being wasted, like how do we stop that? But I think if we really want to solve the issue, we have to look like in ourselves and in our system of producing too much. Yeah. How to be a chef essentially is how to cut an onion. So my name is Livy Call, and I'm the Engagement Fellow for Food Access and Security at JMU. Looking at the intersection of like sustainability and social justice has been my main focus with food lately. It's something that's very new to me because I came into the world of food from a very young age, and I was really interested in cooking and being with my family and sharing a meal. And I got to college and I was like, oh great, okay, I'll study nutrition and I'll figure out like what everybody should eat. And so that took me to cooking, and I was like, great, okay, so now I know how to like cook healthy food for people. And I think that was coming from a very privileged standpoint because I'd never really needed to think about where my food was coming from. I just kind of had healthy food served to me from my mom, who's really interested in it. It got me wondering like why people don't have access to food. We have this world of like so much wealth and abundance and like so much food wasted, while also we have such high rates of poverty and high rates of food insecurity.
The way to think of this building is more of a hub, and we acquire the food in the millions, and that food gets distributed through the partner agencies who are on the ground. Sustainability is also a very important aspect to what we do and how we operate. When it comes to food, we also take the approach of wanting to rescue food. Maybe there's a farmer who has gleaned his field, but he left the apples and the things that, you know, aren't pretty and shiny and might not sell in the grocery store. But it's still edible, it's still good, and we definitely have people who need and want it. Research conducted annually by Feeding America that there are roughly 139,000 food insecure people in our service region. And in the central Shenandoah Valley alone, we're serving roughly 32,000 individuals each month. There are very, very compelling reasons why and how people find themselves in need of food assistance. And it's never as simple as, you know, we try to think of it. It's always complex, it's nuanced, and there are layers. It's putting a human face and hopefully fostering understanding when it comes to the problem of food insecurity and how it happens, and that all of us are vulnerable.
We all working. You've been working together this whole time. It's been working out fine.
Yeah, but we argue.
But you're learning how to work together. That's what's important.
Yeah, but
it
it
takes
doesn't
time.
want to.
This This is my cooking class, the Emerging Chef program with On the Road Collaborative. We meet once a week and I teach high schoolers here at the high school. I also teach middle schoolers at Thomas Harrison and Skyline Middle School. Basic skills cooking, and we have a lot of fun.
One more time.
Wait, what? There's so many injustices that happen in our food system that we are so unaware of. I think one thing that we really need to recognize is, like, a lot of us millennials, at least now, I feel like we're like, oh, we're just in the system, we've kind of known it. But our food system hasn't always been this way in America. As I'm like diving more into it, I'm like learning a lot more and then recognizing like people might not know this much about food, and so I want to start sharing that and like raising awareness about it. It's funny because we have so many people who are so worried about us living in a world with like 9 billion people that we can't eat. We're not going to be able to produce enough food. But we produce so much food, we just waste too much of it.
All right. When are we going to start with the noodles? So what we're going to do is...
I guess it kind of went from liking to eat to wanting to make my own food that I could eat, and then wanting to share that with other people. So seeing the way that food ties people together in a really beautiful way, kind of in like events and rituals or ceremonies. Like, it's just such a great part of like our community fabric. You know, it's kind of this like this thread that weaves us all together. Yeah, we don't like anything to go to waste. We have people struggling to eat food and to feel full or to feel satisfied, and yet we have so much food waste. Like, it makes no sense. It's like I can see all these dumpsters in my head, or all these places where I can get free like food that people would be wasting. I can see that. So we're going to dumpster dive right now, and I think we're gonna start off with a Food Lion. That's always pretty reliable because Food Lion has open access to the dumpsters. There's also a local grocery store called Red Front that we might go to. There's apparently a Lay's factory where they just like throw away hordes of potato chip bags that don't have enough air in them. The sky's the limit tonight. It's like opening up presents on Christmas. You never know what you're gonna get. Just not that one. Oh, wow. This is pretty good.
All this packaged salad stuff will
Nice.
keep for a little while. You should check them and surgery.
They don't seem too puffy.
I've been dumpster diving for 3 years. I know people that have found over 300 boxes of instant oatmeal, over 100 hot wings, or 200 containers of hummus.
Yeah, so this is a box of spicy Cheetos, and it looks like, well, that one is open. All the Cheetos bags are good.
I'm gonna go open up the back trunk.
Yeah.
Think someone's in there? Oh, maybe they're hiding right now. Oh, I see someone. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
We were gonna check out the dumpster too.
Yeah, y'all want anything? There's like a shit ton of mushrooms.
Nice.
Really? We'll check it out.
You sit there. Look here, pomegranate.
A
Mango.
What?
Yes. See, here's an organic mint.
What?
I mean, look, pear. It is like unreal. The waste in this town. Look, do you want some flowers? See, there is nothing wrong with this stuff. Can you imagine all the people in the world that could feed off of this?
Yeah. It's crazy. I acknowledge that, like, you're gonna have food waste. Like, I've worked in the food industry before, and so I understand that, you know, things go bad, or maybe you don't use the whole carrot or whatever, but I feel like there just has to be better like distribution of that waste that can be used for like composting or like feeding livestock or feeding people. What makes me passionate about food waste? Well, passion is transforming into frustration right now, just seeing how much food waste there is, because if food waste were a country, it would be the 5th most polluting country in the world. Oh my gosh, there's a massive pomegranate. I mean, not pomegranate, sorry. Whatchamacallit? Turnip. And grapefruit. What do you think? And I feel like people just don't know about all this. So now, like, it's like really, I'm like getting really mad and like, or like frustrated and like wanting to like do something about it. So now it's like, I feel like food was once my passion, and now I'm starting to recognize that like food and like food sustainability and food access and just like the beauty of food and the deliciousness of food is like, it's more of a necessity, and like I can't not be this like advocate because I know too much now.
You have to ask yourself, what kind of community do you want to live in? And when you imagine that community, you then have to ask yourself, what can I do to make that happen? What can I do to make that community a reality? And we all have a part. We all have a part to play.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old here, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads.